KVNU.com.
6 people have now been charged in connection with last week's escape of 10 inmates from the New Orleans Sheriff's Office jail. One of them is a current prisoner. 5 escapees still on the run. Microsoft fired an employee who interrupted a speech by its chief, Satya Nadella, to protest the company supplying the Israeli military with technology used in Gaza. A Paris court has found the ringleader and 7 other people guilty in the 2016 robbery of Kim Kardashian. The court acquitted 2 of the 10 defendants. 6 defendants are in their 60s and 70s. Ever had one of those nights where you sleep right through a really loud thunderstorm? It was kind of like that for a man from Norway, kind of, but not quite.
Johan Heldberg woke up recently to find a giant cargo ship had run aground and very narrowly missed crashing right into his home. That didn't wake him up. A frantic neighbor ringing his doorbell did. Pictures show the ship's bow just a few yards from Heldberg's house in coastal Norway, but the only apparent damage was to a heating pump wire. There weren't any injuries on the ship and no oil spills. There is, however, a suspect in mind who police think may have caused the very near collision. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
The media content distributor King Features says it fired a writer who used artificial intelligence to produce a recommended summer reading list that contains non-existent books. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
He's coming. Here he comes. Surprise! Your table saw broke. Also, the warranty expired weeks ago, so you need to pay for a new one out of pocket.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Oh, and the replacement part you ordered doesn't fit, so it's completely useless.
What a waste.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
4:05 on this beautiful Friday afternoon with your KVNU News headlines. I'm Will Feelright. Well, the Utah Board of Higher Education has established a 9-member committee that will lead the search for the next president of Utah State University. The committee is charged with identifying exceptional candidates who will then advance the university's unique mission as Utah's land and space grant institution, also emphasizing student-centered education, research, and community engagement. Now, the committee is being co-chaired by Board of Higher Education Vice Chair Steve Neilman, along with USU Board of Trustees member David Huntsman. Now, it'll be comprised of representatives from the Board of Higher Education, USU trustees, and institutional stakeholders, along with faculty, staff, students, administration, alumni, and community members. Now, Neilman said that they're committed to finding a leader whose vision and values will align with the spirit of Utah State and can champion its mission of learning, discovery, and service for the success of all students who attend. And a motorcyclist died after hitting a deer and then being run over by another biker on Thursday night. Utah Highway Patrol Lieutenant Cameron Roden said that the crash happened at about 11:30 near Duchesne along State Route 35. Now, the motorcyclist was reportedly traveling eastbound when they struck the deer that was crossing the road. That then caused the motorcyclist to be thrown from their bike, where they were then struck by another vehicle. Now, despite the maneuvers of other bikers to get around, the motorcyclist died on impact. And 2 Utah men have been arrested and charged with stealing $70,000 in cash from a cleaners in Idaho Falls back on the 4th of July last year. Thomas Jeffrey Ward was charged with felony burglary and felony grand theft, while Jimmy Jack Olson was also charged with the same 2 felonies as Ward, and then also received an alternative charge which alleges that Olson conspired to help Ward commit those 2 felonies. Well, weather-wise, going to continue to see sunny skies through the rest of the afternoon, and looks like the sun is going to continue through the weekend and into next week, as overall we're going to enjoy a beautiful Memorial weekend. Temperatures expected to stay right around the mid-70s for Saturday and Sunday, 80s coming for Monday with mostly clear skies. A small chance we could see a little isolated thunderstorm activity Sunday and into Monday. And Logan Extermination brings you our weather on the 6s, helping to get your lawn ready and greened up for summer. Call Logan Extermination. They can take care of your lawn and keep those creepy crawlers out of your home. It's Logan Extermination. Give them a call at 752-8450. And I'm Will Feelright with your KVNU News headlines.
Hey listeners, let's talk comfort. Specifically, how Cardinals insulation can help. Did you know the average home loses up to 35% of its heated or cooled air through the walls and roof? But here's the good news. When you call Cardinals, not only will you feel the difference with a quieter, more energy-efficient home, but you could also qualify for a tax credit up to $1,200. Save money year-round with Cardinals insulation. Call 755-5012. That's 755-5012.
Help us recognize the champions in our communities. Submit your nominations by visiting kvnutalk.com. The Above and Beyond Salute, sponsored by Firehouse Subs.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. Purple Mattress is changing sleep. They bought IntelliBed and now have the world's best bed, the Purple Ultimate lineup. That means all floor models have to go and will be blown out to make room for the new lineup. Tempur-Pedic has joined the party and their floor models will be blown out as well. Memorial Day is the biggest sale of the year and Purple and Tempur-Pedic are raising the stakes. Up to 4 years, no interest financing, and as always, our 90-day price guarantee and 90-day sleep guarantee. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally? Only at My Mattress.
Whoever you are, young or a little gray, hop on Connect Transit. We're on our way. Wherever you're headed, work, school, or play, we'll get you there the easy way. No parking, no traffic, no worries, no fuss. Just sit back, relax, and ride with us. Skip the hassle, skip the drive. With Connect Transit, you'll arrive. Connect Transit. We're going your way. Visit rideconnectutah.gov to find your ride today.
Tuesday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show. We will get you up to date with everything that happened over the big Memorial Day weekend festivities. What is the latest on the Senate as they pursue a brand new passage of the big, beautiful bill? And what is the continued fallout of the ongoing battle over tariffs? Come hang with us Tuesday right after Memorial Day.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM. KVNU's For the People with Jason Williams and Bill Walter.
And it is Utah known as the fraud capital of the world. Not because we have more people committing fraud, but because we have so many people falling for it.
Going beneath the headlines and connecting you to the newsmakers.
The radio is a great way to get the word out to a lot of people in an emergency. So we thank you for your help and being a partner with us.
For the People on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM, online at 610kvnu.com and on the KVNU mobile app.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. Hour one of today's show, Friday, May 23rd. I'm Jason Williams, 73 degrees here at the Radio Ranch, 4:11 in the afternoon. For the People movie show coming up at 5 o'clock with Andy Morgan joining us. Part two of our summer movie preview. We made it most of the way through June last Friday, so hopefully we'll get through July and August today. It may have to, in the end, be a three-part summer movie preview. We also have new films in theaters. You can still see Clown in a Cornfield here in Cache Valley. Surprisingly, I thought that one would leave today, but it has not. We'll talk about it all. That's coming up in the For the People movie show, hour two of today's show with Andy Morgan joining us here in the studio. ABC News with the breaking news regarding Billy Joel today. This could impact Utahns a bit more than others who had tickets to Billy Joel's tour. This was a global tour. He was performing to perform here in Salt Lake City tonight alongside Sting at the Rice Eccles Stadium. But news this morning, first broken by Rolling Stone and later confirmed by Joel's family and a statement put out by the family. He is undergoing therapy of sorts for, and I don't know what that entails, for something called normal pressure hydrocephalus. And that is a brain condition, a brain disorder. And I don't really know what that entails, but apparently it's a lengthy process. He's expected to make a full recovery. The recovery rate on this is high. But in short, it's an accumulation of fluids in the brain, in the ventricles specifically, and the normal pressure hydrocephalus is called normal pressure for short because despite the excess fluid, the pressure is actually dropping in those areas. So they measure this with a spinal tap, by the way, so that's got to be fun for Joel. And the concert tonight was automatically rescheduled for Friday, May 22nd, 2026. So basically a year from now. And if you had tickets, so word from the ticket distributor and the University of Utah's Rice-Eccles Stadium event manager is that just because you had tickets to this show doesn't mean you automatically have tickets to the May 22nd show. If you want a refund, you don't have to do a thing. A refund will automatically be processed back to your original payment method if you bought these tickets, and the refund will go to the original purchaser. So if the ticket was transferred to you through another party, the original purchaser gets the money back. So again, that concert has been postponed to May 22nd, 2026, still at Rice-Eccles Stadium, and still with Sting, they're saying. But again, the event has been canceled, and this has got to be horrible news for people that, to make the announcement day of the concert here in Utah. A lot of people probably already scheduled the day off, maybe had planned to spend the day in Salt Lake, and then to get the news. So hopefully everyone does get the news, and you're not showing up at the Rice-Eccles Stadium there at the University of Utah to find nothing going on. But it wasn't just this show that was canceled. Of course, the singer-songwriter canceled all shows on his itinerary. And Billy Joel, he's 76, by the way, in a statement from his management reads, this condition has been exacerbated by recent concert performances, leading to problems with hearing, vision, and even balance. Under his doctor's instructions, Billy is undergoing specific physical therapy and has been advised by doctors to refrain from performing during this recovery period. Billy is thankful for the excellent care he's receiving and is fully committed to prioritizing his health. And in a personal statement, Joel said, I'm sincerely sorry to disappoint all of our audiences, especially our audience in Salt Lake and Utah, getting this news day of our planned show there. But thank you for your understanding. So this is rescheduled, but Sean Means, the Salt Lake Tribune entertainment critic there, says this show is unlikely to ever actually happen. So last September, officials at the University of Utah announced this. Sting and Billy Joel sharing the stage, co-headlining this show at the Rice-Eccles Stadium, scheduled for tonight, now canceled again and postponed to May 22nd, 2026. And the announcement brought out, if you remember, the Ute coach, Kyle Whittingham, wore a Piano Man T-shirt in Joel's honor that day when the announcement was made. In March, Joel announced that the Rice-Eccles show would be postponed for 1 year to May 2026 and cited an unnamed medical condition, including the Salt Lake City stop. And now, with this announcement today that he's canceling the rest of the shows, the 2026 concert itself is in doubt, along with 16 other remaining performances. It's I don't know a thing about this disorder that he has, but Sean Means, writing in the Salt Lake Tribune today, is basically saying this is a lengthy physical therapy treatment, and he wouldn't be surprised if Joel doesn't tour again. So, keep that in mind. Again, Ticketmaster is refunding money for these tickets automatically. If you haven't gotten the money back within a few days, then you may want to contact Ticketmaster. But so again, postponed a couple of months ago, and then with this news today, likely canceled entirely. Live Nation held a special press conference to announce the show when it came out. They and made a huge deal out of this. And again, unfortunate that with this news today, that 2026 date might be in question as well. So, Billy Joel fans, bad news all around. But it does sound like he's going to be okay in the end. And I assume, he's 76, so who knows? But I would assume he's going to feel a little pressure to mount another tour, just maybe not in 2026. We'll see how it goes. Coming up on the other side, Cache County officials have officially launched a survey. This is created by VBO Architecture of New York. This is a firm that is specializes in this type of thing, gauging public input on big projects. And what they're looking for is your opinion, Cache Valley residents' opinions about the need for indoor year-round recreation options for the county. If you remember, we talked with David Zook, Cache County executive, about this a few weeks ago in the studio here, and he explained, what some of the options are. There's the one big rec center option somewhere maybe central in the valley, maybe even still in Logan City, despite the fact that this is happening because Logan is closing that rec center to the public and to save money, basically. And the county recognizes that this has kind of fallen on Logan's shoulders for a long time. It's not sustainable any longer. The county does need to do something, but what? One big rec center, centrally located. One other option the county executive told us was, being thrown around is a north and a south location with split duties, basically. There are a lot of different ways this could play out, but the survey is out, and they're hoping to get as close to everyone weighing in on this one. We'll talk about what some of the questions are and what it says about the direction the county might be headed in all of this. So the survey is out, and some of the details about the survey right after this.
Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
Wilson Motor Company.
Hi, this is Chris Wilson at Wilson Motor Company. If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, now is the time to buy during our Memorial Day sales event. We have reduced the prices on over 140 pre-owned vehicles with over 120 4x4 trucks and SUVs. We can help you find the right vehicle. Check out our inventory online at wilsonmotor.com or drop in for a test drive at one of our 2 great locations.
Wilson Motor Company. We make car buying easy.
With so much financial uncertainty, are you wondering if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. Your Edward Jones financial advisor can help. If you have more questions than answers about what's next, we can work together to help ensure you're prepared for the future. After all, retirement isn't the end of the road, it's a new beginning. Call one of our 11 branch locations in Cache Valley or go to edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Here's Chad, the lawn doctor, with a tip for your lawn. Years ago, we introduced a 2-step soil enrichment service to our weed and feed program. Here is what our customers have noticed: improved water retention, reduced compaction, stimulated root growth, and an increase in nutrient and fertilizer uptake, resulting in a greener and healthier lawn this summer. Add this popular 2-step soil enrichment service to your lawn care program and get the second service half off.
Fertilizer, weed, and pest control. Call the Lawn Doctor at 753-LAWN or go to LawnDoctorCacheValley.com.
The Above and Beyond Salute.
I'm on the corner of 2nd North and 4th West, here to recognize a hero. If you drive 2nd North, chances are you've probably seen Kenneth Redford, a longtime crossing guard. Now, Kenneth, how many years have you been a crossing guard?
I want to say 10.
You probably see a lot of kids coming by every day. And
I do.
Not only have you just been keeping kids safe for so many years, but also the way you're always waving to everybody, that's just really great.
The Above and Beyond Salute on News Talk KVNU.
What's the matter with the clothes I'm wearing? Can't you tell that your tie's too wide?
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. This was first announced last fall, but it's taken a while to actually get it out. It is officially live now, and you can find the link in the story at CacheValleyDaily.com, right there on the homepage. But the Cache County Community Recreation Center survey is live. I'm looking at it right now, and it's kind of revealing. We talked about this on the show a few weeks ago with Cache County Executive David Zook, again, here in the studio. And for those not familiar with what's happening around this, Logan City is getting out of the business of supplying a rec center for the Valley. It's not sustainable, city budget-wise, but also the rec center itself isn't large enough to meet demand. There are a lot of different things going on there, and Logan said, look, it's time for us. The building's not coming down or anything like that. It's going to be used by Logan High in various ways, and there are going to be some limited public access opportunities to specific types of education and fitness events. But as far as a open all-day public rec center, that's come to an end. And the county recognizes, to be honest with you, I think the county recognizes they maybe should have been on top of this a long time ago. And now they're scrambling because we're looking at a year or two before, I would guess, there's even construction to see happening on a new rec center or multiple centers. And that's what the survey is all about. The survey is full of questions about how you find recreation in Cache Valley. Is it trails, public parks, a private fitness center? Do you go to a public fitness center? Do you think the focus should be on recreation and activities for youth, physical and mental health, or for senior physical and mental health, or both? Do you see this more for middle-aged adults? So basically, they're just gauging everyone's opinion on what a rec center is for, and then basing, the county will build the plan around that. There are other questions along the lines of what services do you feel should be included in a county rec center? Some of those options, again, youth sports, recreation, and fitness programs, adult sports, recreation, fitness programs, senior recreation, fitness programs, swimming, indoor ice rink, community education and activities, arts education and activities, a performance space, general senior services, general health and medical services, mental health services. These are all options in the what do you see the purpose of a community rec center being. And it's not a very long survey, but it is in depth, and that intrigued me. One of the questions that stood out to me, so there is a portion of the survey where they ask you to rank potential recreation and fitness activities. And there's everything on there from indoor training for baseball and soccer to open access cardio and strength training, dedicated indoor area for walking and jogging, a track, basically, technology integrated fitness programs, CrossFit, and then you're asked to rank them in order of importance to you. What do you think, not just for yourself, but for the community, what do you think the most important and least important ranking is? So I'm excited to see the county do this. What happens from this is, like I say, we're a year or two out, I think, before you're going to see a single shovel of dirt turned on any construction beginning on any site. But there are a lot of options. As David Zook told us when he was here in the studio, some of the ideas that he's heard discussed by members of the council, people on his team, and nothing's decided, of course, right now, but there's the option to do sort of a central, big rec center. Maybe it would even still be located in Logan to make it central in the Valley. Who knows? But one big rec center that would have a pool, an indoor track, weightlifting area, areas that could be used for more specific fitness training or even senior health programs, yoga, Pilates, things like that. But also they could include playgrounds, wheelchair fitness program was an idea that Zook told us had been discussed as well. And, obviously this would be new, so it would be state of the art, the latest stuff. But the location is still a big question. One idea that I liked that has been thrown around a bit is having a north and a south. So you have a south location and a north location. Hypothetically, you've got, say, Nibley and North Logan, or maybe you go even further north. I don't know. But I would say Nibley and North Logan, you have and this, again, is purely hypothetical. I have no insider information here, but so maybe at the south location in Nibley, you have the track, the weightlifting area, the fitness centers in general, and you do some of the CrossFit and yoga and Pilates and things like that, the adaptive fitness programs like wheelchair fitness, indoor training for specific sports, soccer, baseball, things like that. But then at north, you have another facility where you have the pool, the gymnastics mats, or maybe that's where the indoor training for specific sports goes. I don't know. So basically, you'd have two locations with split duties. Pool would be at one, walking and running track at the other, things like that. No scenario is going to be perfect for everyone, right? But I don't know. I like the two location idea, mainly because it doesn't, it doesn't limit. It doesn't. Not that anywhere in Cache Valley is a long travel of any way in any way, but it doesn't force travel. So if you have the two locations, either way, you're going to have access to something recreational, especially in the wintertime. That's not going to require a lot of travel. But again, that's maybe a minor concern because one big central location is going to be pretty close to everybody in Cache Valley anyway. One thing I do think is important here, and I feel like everyone's kind of already on the same page with this one. I think that when it comes to what a rec center is for, so first, when Logan first made the announcement that they needed to kind of get out of the business for financial reasons of supplying and maintaining a rec center for the entire valley, I think that one of the first things I heard some talk about was every city kind of doing their own thing. Like what happened with Green Waste. So you've got Logan closing the rec center, and then you have maybe Providence, for example, or Hiram. They build their own or try to make their own work. And that, when I first, I really think that's a bad idea. I don't think that I don't think that works for everybody as well as the county doing something with county-wide needs in mind. And so I think that there's a benefit to having the county do this as a county-wide project, because a lot of us don't use the rec center, so most people I know, I was thinking about this, most people I know go to a private fitness, to a gym, basically a gym you pay a fee each month to be a member of. But I also recognize most people I know are my age. And so I started asking around a little bit, and what I found is that seniors in Cache Valley are a lot more dependent on the rec center, and that's no surprise. For recreation, and if that's done in a way that it's like a class, or you have to be there at a certain time to do some strength training or some Pilates or some yoga, things like that, group fitness classes, basically, that's better for them. They can be there at that time and take advantage of that, and they don't have to push themselves to do it. That you need a location for that, and having it be a county-wide access rec center is going to be the easiest way to do that. And so that was eye-opening. But also I learned from some of the athletics directors at various high schools around Cache Valley that especially in the wintertime, a rec center is important for a certain, and I'd never thought of this, but so you have, high school sports that like lacrosse or volleyball or even at different times football, where they maybe want to train throughout the year. Even though it's weather-wise and out of season, there's not a lot of running around on the fields in December in Utah, right? But it gives them an area to go for the kids at the schools, young people to go and actually keep up some of their strength training and keep up. And one of the reasons that I think that's important is that's tied to better education outcomes as well. It's hard to get outside in the wintertime. We've all had those winters that just seemed really long, and we got a little bit of the cabin fever, right? So now imagine not having any options at all for kids to get outside or to be active. They can't get outside because it's 20 degrees in the daytime, but there's not an option for them to go be active individually or as a group as well. And I didn't realize that the rec center filled that role. I'm naive to what the kids are up to these days, not being one anymore. But yeah, I found out that was a pretty big thing, that a lot of these, not as any official school sanctioned activity, but a lot of the football team and a lot of the lacrosse team members, soccer team members in those off months in the wintertime would take advantage of the rec center to keep their strength training up, outside of PE class at school and things like that. And so, yeah, I like that as an option as well. Or I like the idea of a county-wide rec center system of some kind for that reason. So this is interesting. If you want to read more about this, it's a lengthy read, but recreational centers are actually connected to reduced crime as well. It's interesting, but once you read through this, I won't try to explain it here, but how they get there, how the researchers get there to conclude that a rec center, that a lot of recreational options, especially in the colder months and colder climates, can be a crime reduction tool. As soon as you read this, it'll make sense to you. But the short and sweet of it is you keep young people busy and keep their fitness levels up, and you have less crime. And that actually just makes total sense. So take the survey. It's, again, linked in the story at cachevalleydaily.com. Charlie Schill with a write-up there and a link in his story to the survey itself. I'm not sure the deadline on this, but I know you're going to have at least 30 days from now. But we'll get an exact date on that. But just don't waste any time. Find the story at cachevalleydaily.com. I've also linked to it on our Facebook page. And take the survey now. Make sure your voice is heard on where the county goes with this countywide rec center prospect. And we'll be back with more of KVN News for the People after the news with KVN News Will Feel Right.
Well, thank you, Jason. For those already heading out on the roads, drive safely, as UDOT saying that motorists should expect some delays, especially if you are traveling in and out of Logan along I-15, heading down the Wasatch Front. You're also going to see some traffic delays as well. Up to possibly 30 minutes is what UDOT is forecasting. And then also these delays expected again on Monday as many people are returning home. Well, and speaking of traffic, it didn't take long for a newborn baby to get an immediate up-close look at one of the joys of living in Utah, traffic along I-15. Just before 2:30 yesterday, an expectant mother realized that her baby wasn't going to wait much longer, and that forced her to pull over onto the side of the highway where she gave birth to the baby boy right there on the shoulder of the northbound lanes. Now, after the stork left, a Utah Highway Patrol trooper arrived after the birth to help the mother and her child, giving the new family a ride to the hospital. Now, reports are that both mom and baby are doing great, according to the Utah Highway Patrol, although I'm sure Shirley a little bit startled, as all commuters usually are in northern Utah. And a 29-year-old Midvale man is accused of sexually assaulting and beating a pregnant teenager who claims they were married. The man was booked into the Salt Lake County Jail for investigation of 2 counts of rape and assault of a pregnant woman. The investigation began back on May 13th when a 17-year-old girl who is now 6 weeks pregnant reported being assaulted by a 29-year-old man. Now, the girl lives with the man as a religious spouse, according to a police booking affidavit. Now, the girl, who is still in high school, disclosed that she had been in an arranged marriage since January of 2024 when she was just shy of her 16th birthday. Now, Unified Police stated in the arrest report that the marriage was completed through the Muslim religion, but it's not a legally recognized marriage. The girl revealed that she had started having sexual relations with the man daily after they were married. Now, on the night of May 12th, the two had gotten into an argument, and the man lunged at her and hit her and kicked her. Now, police noted that the girl had several bruises on her body. When the man was questioned by police, he made no mention of having a current spouse or girlfriend. He was taken into custody after being questioned. And one person was killed by police early this morning in an armed robbery, according to Unified Police officers. Now, this happened in Midvale early this morning. Unified Police say they were dispatched to the scene at about 2:20 a.m. following reports of the armed robbery. Now, while on scene, police said that an altercation occurred involving an individual, which resulted in that person's death. Now, authorities did not release additional details about the suspect or the nature of the altercation. A knife was reportedly covered as evidence at the scene. Now, an officer-involved critical incident protocol was initiated, and the investigation was turned over to the West Valley City Police Department. Well, it looks like it's going to be a gorgeous Memorial weekend as we're going to enjoy temperatures over the next several days, staying right around the mid-70s. Overnight temperatures are going to stay right around the mid-40s. Still could see a small chance of some isolated thunderstorms Sunday and into Monday, but next week it's going to start warming up. Low 80s expected for Memorial Day, then mid-80s by the middle of next week. And when it comes to insuring your business, remember Quality First Insurance has the options to take care of your employee benefit package. Call Matt Robbins at Quality First Insurance at 752-0101 or get more information at q1ins.com. And I'm Will Theorite with your KVNU News headlines. Another check of your local news coming up at 5:05.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro praising President Trump's announcement of a merger between U.S. Steel and the Japanese-owned Nippon Steel. Mr. Trump saying U.S. Steel's HQ will remain in Pittsburgh. Wall Street's major indexes closed lower after President Trump threatened a 50% tariff on all imports from the European Union and a 25% tariff on smartphones made overseas. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from ordering Harvard University not to admit any foreign students. The university is suing over the order, a Chinese student at Harvard.
Today can really fundamentally reset people's belief, in how far the administration could go.
Billy Joel canceling all scheduled concerts, saying he's dealing with a brain disorder which has affected his hearing, vision, and balance. Physical therapy expected to lead to a full recovery. This is ABC News.
Make laundry a snap with the large load washers and dryers at Mount Logan Laundry. Rather than 8 to 10 loads at home, get the job done in 1 or 2 with their 55 or 80-pound washers and 80-pound dryers that are perfect for sleeping bags, comforters, and other big items. Mount Logan Laundry has free Wi-Fi and drop-off service, plus they're open until midnight. Mount Logan Laundry really is the cleanest spot in town. Find them at 5th East and 9th North in Logan or in Brigham City on the corner of 1st East and 7th South.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. Stocks closed down after President Trump reignited the tariff war today in social media posts, threatening 50% tariffs on the European Union and a 25% tariff on smartphones that are imported, a move that hurts Apple's iPhone business, forcing a possible big price hike on the phones it manufactures in China and soon India. Apple stock, as well as European stocks, dropped. In the U.S., the Dow fell 256 points, the S&P lost 39, and the NASDAQ index closed 189 points lower. The Justice Department has reached a deal that allows Boeing to avoid criminal prosecution for reportedly misleading U.S. regulators about the 737 MAX passenger plane before 2 of the planes crashed. 346 people were killed. As part of the deal that still needs to be finalized, Boeing must pay a fine and invest $1.1 billion for the families of crash victims. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
This is Jordan with Primrose Home Care and Hospice, and I'm here with Barbara. Barbara, how did you become acquainted with Primrose?
I had been trying to get another company to come and help me, and I had waited about 2 weeks, and I needed a bath. My neighbor suggested that she would make a few phone calls, and that very afternoon, Mark Stokes was sitting in my front room, and he said, "What do you need?"
Primrose Home Care and Hospice. We're your home team.
Hear that? That's not just a noise. It's your transmission asking for help. Before you trade in your ride for a new car and a hefty payment because of higher tariffs, come to Amco Transmissions. They'll get your transmission running smooth, extend your car's life, and save you thousands. Don't ditch your car. Fix it smarter, not pricier. AA MCO. Amco Transmission. 75 East 2000 North, North Logan. Online at amcoutah.com. See store for details.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Coming up at 5, the For the People movie show. Andy Morgan joining us. We'll be talking Lilo and Stitch. Pick one. The Minecraft movie, surprisingly still in theaters, still making a lot of money. Marvel's Thunderbolts. If you haven't seen that, you absolutely should. Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. And Megaplex also running the $5 Mega Real Deals flashbacks. And it looks like for this weekend, it's Pride and Prejudice. If you'd like to see Winona Ryder completely fail at having a British accent, and that's your thing, then that's for you. We'll also be talking about upcoming summer movies. We talked our way through June. Last Friday, we'll probably, maybe, get through July and August, summer movie-wise, on the show today. Again, Andy joining us at 5 o'clock, so stick around for that. During the legislative session, $60 million in cuts were forced on universities around the state. For example, USU has 2 years basically to cut $17 million from their budget. There was concern that this was going to lead to mostly cutting a lot of the humanities and liberal arts classes, which I think is a mistake because, when people hear the word liberal arts or humanities, I think they think of, actual art classes. You've all heard the joke that there's a class for underwater basket weaving. Now, really, there isn't a class like that. But also, this is usually a joke by people who don't, and I don't mean this to sound snooty or elitist, but fact is, it's usually a joke made by people who don't have a lot of experience with the college environment or experience itself. And so the story I like to tell is I not accidentally, but I hadn't planned to, and then I needed credits to graduate, and I took a 400 level anthropology class. I have no interest in anthropology. It's what was available in the time slot I had available. It didn't sound too hard, and it would give me the credits I needed. And so I took it, and it ended up being one of the classes that had the biggest impact on me career-wise of my entire college experience. So, again, I don't think you can really say that because the class doesn't sound interesting to you, it doesn't have educational value. And so there was some concern about that. Debate is another one that's a good example to use. Debate classes fall into, and speech classes fall into the humanitarian, or excuse me, I guess, but the liberal arts and human interest classes, and that, I think, is a class that, personally, I think debate should be a required class for everyone at the college level and in high school at least once. Debate and speech, because it teaches you a lot about expressing yourself, and also how to, a lot of the annoying people you meet on social media who just can't let it go, the reply guys they're called, and they have to comment on everything, and they always have to have the last word. Those are people that didn't take a debate class and never learned to couch your resources and save it for another day. That said, I also think, now I was disappointed to see the legislature not go after capital projects, because I think one of my strongly held beliefs is universities are building way too many new buildings too often instead of utilizing existing space more creatively. I'm not saying universities don't need new buildings and don't need to update buildings. They absolutely do, and that job will never be done, and it will always cost taxpayers money, and that's just the nature of the beast. But I do think, looking statewide, universities build more than they probably need to and build a little more lavishly than they need to. And I'm sorry, the heat bill and cooling bill alone on the Huntsman School of Business at Utah State University has got to be costing taxpayers a lot of money. Why would you build an entirely glass-walled building and make the glass face south? Anyway, and if you've ever been up there at 3 p.m. in July, you know what I'm talking about. That's a pretty warm building. So there are plenty of ways we can cut, is what I'm saying. I don't think university budgets should be sacrosanct and untouchable. That said, the Speaker of the House, Mike Schultz, has confessed himself he has no idea what college is all about. He's never been, and he's not familiar with it outside of his role as a lawmaker. And so he came out of the gate, basically listing things he'd like to see cut. And then people pushed back and said, yeah, but that's pretty useful. And he finally learned to just kind of step back and let people with more experience handle it. It ended up playing out well, I think. But news today that one college is actually going beyond what the legislature is forcing on them by about $500,000. So the mandate from the legislature for Salt Lake Community College was to find about $5.2 million to reduce in their budget over the next 2 years. A far cry from the $17 million over the next 2 years USU's been asked to cut. Salt Lake Community College, they're supposed to come up with $5.2 million in reductions based on the legislature's mandate passed during the session, and they're going to go $500,000 more, which will take it up to about $5.9 million. And this is what was interesting, and this is why I say university budgets can't be untouchable. The college said that in a statement where they announced this, they said as they were going through just trying to meet the legislature's mandate, which kind of annoyed them at first because they thought, we know what we're doing and we're not exactly wasting money here. But as they were going through trying to meet the legislature's $5.2 million mandate, the way they were able to get it to $5.9 million, another $500,000 they'll be cutting from their budget, they discovered while trying to meet the legislature's mandate. They said, in a statement, Salt Lake Community College, when they announced this today, said they found this additional surplus identified through reductions and said that they aren't trying to, they're not brown nosing, they're not trying to, kiss the legislature's tuchus or anything like that. They just said, as we got going through and trying to meet the legislature's mandate, we realized we had some other things that we could cut that would actually streamline things here at the school. And they said this was all part of something we were already working on, which was a long-term strategic plan. And so last week, the school initially said it'd be about $300,000 more than what the legislature asked them to cut. And then today they said, no, it's going to be about $580,000 in addition to the $5.2 million the legislature asked us to cut. They said, we reviewed the language of HB 265, the bill that mandated the cuts to universities across the board in Utah. Not equal, $60 million total the state asked universities to cut, but each school kind of got their own little mandate. And again, for example, USU, $17 million is what they need to come up with out of their budget over the next 2 years. But Salt Lake City Community College said that as they were going through making sure they were, living the law as they did this, they realized that President Greg Peterson said the strategic plan aims to nearly double the enrollment of Salt Lake Community College to 50,000 students by 2027, and that was one of our goals. And it was we were at 27,000 this fall. So the college also wants to increase degree completion to 50%. It's currently at 33%. So right now, about 33% are graduating or completing the degree they start. But again, as they got going through and looking at their budgets, their faculty, their staff, all of that stuff, they found an additional $580,000 $50,000 that they could cut. And they said that they might not have noticed this if the demand from the legislature hadn't been put in place. So pretty cool stuff, honestly. Hopefully they're not cutting too, ham-handedly, because that can cost money in the other way. We're seeing that with DOGE at the federal level, having to hire back all these employees they laid off in the USDA and other departments because they realized they laid off too many, or shouldn't have laid off any at all, and that's costing taxpayers money now to hire them back. And you've got to be careful, but I still think it's pretty cool news. They weren't specific on where they found this extra money to cut, but they said as they were going through, they realized they'd already met the mandate of HB 265, the legislative mandate, and then they realized there were some other areas where they could trim the budget here and there, money that didn't need to be spent necessarily, and they can cut it another $580,000 and still meet their goal of, by 2027, growing the student body at Salt Lake Community College from 27,000 last fall to 50,000 students is what they're looking for. So some kind of cool news and maybe some inspiration for the other universities out there as well to see if they can find a little extra in their cuts, legislative mandate-wise. We'll see. We'll be back with more of KVNU's For the People right after this.
The tent is up and the deals are on at Al Sporting Goods Outdoor Expo. Anderson AR-15 rifle only $349.99. 9mm Blazer Brass $11.99. 65% off Vortex Viper spotting scopes $379.99. Woods 3-person tents $39.99. Quick Shade 10x10 canopies only $69.99. And thousands of Carve sunglasses $7.99. Don't miss the biggest outdoor deals of the year only at Al Sporting Goods Outdoor Expo sale. Al Sporting Goods in Logan and online at als.com. Every sport, every season.
Tired of that patch of dirt you call a patio? Ready to impress the neighbors and your in-laws? Introducing you, the Weekend Warrior. Thanks to Castelite Tile and Masonry. With easy-to-install outdoor pavers and expert advice, you'll go from, I have no idea what I'm doing, to check out my backyard oasis in no time. They'll teach you how to do it right without the head-scratching or YouTube rabbit holes. Castelite, go where the pros go. And now, where you go too.
Wilson Motor Company.
Hi, this is Chris Wilson at Wilson Motor Company. If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, now is the time to buy during our Memorial Day sales event. We have reduced the prices on over 140 pre-owned vehicles with over 120 4x4 trucks and SUVs. We can help you find the right vehicle. Check out our inventory online at wilsonmotor.com or drop in for a test drive at one of our 2 great locations.
Wilson Motor Company. We make car buying easy.
A Disney cruise is no ordinary vacation. It's an adventure, a fairy tale, a dream. Step aboard and discover where favorite Disney characters meet fun for the whole family. Where total rest and relaxation meet the ultimate escape and excitement. Where a dream vacation meets a magical cruise. Only on Disney Cruise Line, where magic meets the sea.
Contact Morris Columbus Travel to book your Disney Cruise Line vacation at morriscolumbus.com.
Looking for that hidden gem? Ready to turn your stuff into someone else's treasure? Don't miss Cache Valley's biggest garage sale coming to the Eccles Ice Center parking lot Saturday, June 21st from 8 to 3. Booths, food trucks, free kids zones with inflatable fun and garage sale deals you'll have to see to believe. From power tools to patio sets, vinyl records to vintage clothing. You never know what you'll find. For details, sign up and payment information, go to CacheValleyGarageSale.com. First come, first served. Reserve your space now. CacheValleyGarageSale.com. Hidden gems and money to be made on June 21st.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. For the People movie show coming up in just a few minutes with Andy Morgan joining us here in the studio. I debated whether to make this my funny, give you a laugh to head into your evening final story of the week before we transition to movie talk with Movie Boy, as we call him. Because it's not, it's kind of not funny, but at the same time, it is, I don't know. So this was a story, Associated Press this week, about a Greek Orthodox Christian monk who was hospitalized following a violent confrontation at a monastic sanctuary in northern Greece. Nothing funny about that, right? Man was hospitalized, seriously injured. But where it gets maybe not funny, but at least like eyebrow raising. So the monk is being treated in a Greek hospital for cuts and bruises to his face and upper body. He was transferred from the Mount Athos Monastery, about 110 miles east of the hospital. Where the story made my eyebrows go up, and I kind of chuckled a little bit, is this incident is tied to a decades-old dispute, a rift between. So over the years, apparently, this basically a religious battle between these two monasteries has led to repeated violent clashes. No one's ever been killed, but a lot of fists have been thrown, a lot of eyes have been blackened. There have been legal battles, supply blockades between members of one brotherhood blocking church-appointed replacements going up with supplies. And the controversy dates back to the early 1970s. And it started really with a court decision against these rebel monks who were sustained by donations from outside groups. And according to monastic authorities, this latest incident occurring yesterday, actually, in Greece, when a monk from the officially recognized brotherhood was attacked by rivals using garden tools during a routine groundskeeping work at the administrative building. So these two these two groups of monks, one officially sanctioned and one an unofficial rebel group of monks that started their own monastery, have been Hatfield and McCoying it for decades in Greece. One of the stories where I finally lost it and laughed, even though I felt guilty doing it, it was a rock fight. So apparently they have thrown rocks at each other's monasteries for decades, hoping to damage the beauty of the frontal facade that the public first sees if they visit. This is, I don't know. Check it out. The history of this is absolutely right out of a movie, and it's true. I've linked to the full story from the Associated Press on our Facebook page. Check it out, and we'll be back. Kick off the For the People movie show in hour 2 of today's show right after this here on KVNU Logan.